to ASCENT. Oh yeah, surprise, mother. Yeah, it's me, Mr. Lightwork. Welcome, I'm here to deliver today's message. I hope that everybody that's supposed to receive it, receives it. And everybody else, I hope you enjoy being here and enjoy the energy. So, let's dive right in. Today I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this DM so I can tell y'all what's going on with this DM. So let's find out, shall we? Let's go to the top for head space. And then we go heart space. And then we go what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and what we gonna do. All right, here we go. Now let's set it up the rest of the way. Random spots. We're gonna see what we gotta see. Boom. Let's set it up. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We gonna get this message. Whatever it is that's coming through, we gonna get it. We gonna get it. All right. My middle cards are clarifiers, and then the bottom cards are conclusions. So this is the initial interpretation of what's going on in their head, what's going on in their heart, and then what we can expect action-wise, and then these are the conclusions based off all of this information. So let us begin. What's the Divine Masculine thinking about? The Divine Masculine is thinking about their inability to be sure-footed, their inability to make decisions, their inability to seem like they got it together. This is what the Divine Masculine is battling with day in and day out right now. Their mind is always running and trying to figure out, trying to get a grip on reality, trying to understand what it is, trying to figure out how to be successful. They're trying to figure it out. The Divine Masculine right now has been told that at a certain point, people have it figured out. At some point, you're an adult and you just do things a certain way. And unfortunately, for a lot of Divine Masculines, we haven't been shown that way. Not to the caliber that it should have been showed at in our formidable years. So we see a lot of Divine Masculines in their older age now not being as developed as the previous generations seemed to be, or at least they can't pretend to hold it together as much as the older generations did. So right now the Divine Masculine is always thinking about their faults, always thinking about their shortcomings, always thinking about their mess ups, always thinking about stuff that really isn't serving them, but at the same time it's that comfortable infinity thinking space. It's something they always are. So this is a lot of place that Divine Feminines try to penetrate but really can't get to the core, because the Divine Masculine is so wrapped up in themselves and what they have not done or what they are not, that they can't even hear the Divine Feminine, unfortunately, even though the Divine Feminine comes to them in a position of, all right, look, let's work on this, let's work with each other so we can get this thing taken care of. Anything that approaches the Divine Masculine in this setting, it's a threat, because they are already unstable. So anything that comes in is going to, by their perception, knock them off balance even more, because they start off balance. So when we're looking at this and the fact that it's in the headspace, I have experience with this, and even nowadays in my ministry and in the different channels that I'm doing, there's still an uncertainty about exactly how to do things, and that's what Divine Masculines face as entrepreneurs, which Divine Masculines typically are, just by nature of the type of character that a Divine Masculine is. So having this be in the headspace, it's really just telling you again that they are Divine Masculines, they are cerebral, and they're going to be always in this space unless they cling to something else. Whenever they rely on themselves, they're going to end up in this position. And when they are in this position, y'all are attached to each other somehow energetically, so you end up feeling like this. And I tell you, if you've been watching my channel, I pulled this card recently in one of my videos, and I said, this is not your energy. This is not your energy. A divine feminine is somebody that knows what they want, or at least knows how to give themselves what they need in order to soothe themselves and be at a state of peace and joy. But when they come into contact with the divine masculine that's in this nature, unfortunately for a lot of the divine feminines that I happen to be on the phone with or doing readings for, they seem to feel like their divine masculine's energy is a bit stronger than theirs, and they can't maintain their sure-footedness and end up adopting the divine masculine's unsurety, and that feeling brings about a whole lot of fear. And fear is debilitating. It works against any and everything in regards to the progression forward, the movement forward. And that's the only thing that's important, is continually moving forward. Progression is the key to the game. As long as we keep moving, things can continue to change and happen, because change is the key ingredient in progression as well. So again, keep moving forward. This energy, if you feel it, I tell you it's not yours. You know it's not yours, but I have to tell you, the cards have to show you, the pictures on this card has to show you that that's not your energy. Even though you know deep down it's not, but yet you've been harnessing it for a reason to try to change it, try to help it, try to do whatever. But at the end of the day, when I tell you from a divine masculine perspective that it just comes off as attempted manipulation, and I know that's not what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to help, but I'm telling you that as a divine masculine that has received this type of energy, or has been in this type of energy, and tried to receive some type of reproof or some type of constructive criticism or some type of correction, there was no real reception of it, because I was already imbalanced. So I can't even begin to try to trust somebody else, because I can't trust myself. So again, this energy that you may feel as a result of your divine masculine's energy, it's theirs, and they have to deal with it on their own. I had to deal with it on my own. They have to deal with it on their own. And it's not like a hazing thing, because I absolutely abhor that type of behavior. But each person must undertake their own specific task. They have their journey cut out for them. They have their pitfalls. They have their temptations. They have their ways out. There's everything provided in the journey. The only thing that they need is the willingness to continue to figure this out. That's the only thing that separates me from the divine masculine that you're thinking of. That's the only thing that separates us. A decision to continue to try to figure this out, and not just sweep it under the rug and just think that it's normal, or because that's where I was thinking that my position was normal, that not ever understanding and not caring was cool. It's not. I put on that facade and did the extra cool boy thing to try to mask the fact that I was so jaded on the inside. I have still to this day, as an entrepreneur doing this, I have no idea what to do. Literally, I'm being led by the Spirit as I come and speak to you, because I don't know you from a hole in the wall, but yet the information that the Spirit of Truth gives me to give you seems to resonate. It seems to be able to provide you some peace and clarity, and that's why I continue to do it. But I still don't know what I'm doing, but I know that what I'm doing right now, I like what I'm doing, and I like what it does for the people that I benefit. So I'm going to continue to do it, and until your divine masculine finds something like that and chooses something like that, they'll forever be like this, because they'll be forever choosing themselves. And themselves is always in this mix. They will forever be in this mix. The only thing that stops this is a beacon, something that grounds them, something for them to focus on. Right now, the reason that they can't focus on anything is because they're focused on themselves, and themselves can't focus on anything. Do you hear what I'm telling you? I'm speaking from experience. It's embarrassing to say that at no point did I have it together, even though I faked like I did. All right, it hurts for me to say that out loud, but it's the reality. And it's the reality that your divine masculine is facing, and it's the reality that you are facing with this energy if it comes from that type of individual, and it normally does, because again, this is not your energy. You're normally more succinct, you're normally more precise, you're normally more clear, you're normally more energetically balanced, you're normally better off, until something came around, it distorted what you've normally known, and now all of a sudden it's got the attention. And attention is all the adversary needs to help somebody waste their own time. And in wasting time, that's where this feeling comes about, because you get this feeling that you know you're supposed to be doing something. Again, I'm speaking to both sides right now. The divine masculine is experiencing this, as well as I'm speaking to the divine feminine. That indecision, that imbalance, the adversary is in there. That lie of you'll never to get it together. That's where the divine masculine finds themselves believing that lie and acting that out. And that's where you get the cyclical behavior, because they're acting out their core belief that they're never going to be able to change, that they're never going to get it together. But I tell you that by the spirit of truth, the universe will continue to outstretch its hand, its powerful hand, and reach for the divine masculine's soul, because it wants to get them out of this feeling, and it wants to bring them to a place of feeling like they are here for a purpose and here for a reason, because they really are. We are. You are. Everybody is. The only thing is that sometimes people don't realize it. And unfortunately, in this space, the people that don't realize it tends to be the divine masculines. So this feeling is what the divine masculine deals with until they make a decision to cling to the light and move in alignment with the spirit of truth, which brings about a beacon, something for them to focus on, to be able to get rid of this, because they're just following whatever whim they feel for the day. And that's why it's so hurtful when it seems like they are paying attention one day, and then the next day they're able to blow you off and act like y'all never had the type of connection that you had. Again, I don't know you, but yet what I just said is like, whoa, Mr. Lightwork, how'd you know that? It's because I've been through it, and I'm trying to show you that there's another way. And I'm trying to show you that the divine masculine will stay this way and the way that you know them as, until they cling to the beacon of light. Now, a lot of times that has to be the divine feminine for the divine masculine. They have to be that. And in order to be that, a lot of the times the divine feminine has to turn their back on the divine masculine and use their discernment, because they understand that they're not really in alignment if they're chasing the divine masculine, because being in alignment dictates that you're following divine. So, again, I'm saying this to say that the divine masculine will always have the opportunity to choose the spirit of truth and moving in alignment. And if this card is coming out, they have not found yet the beacon. They have not seen yet, because it's always, the opportunity is always there, always outstretched, always wanting them to choose it. The spirit of truth is just eagerly waiting for the divine masculine to choose to step into action, so the spirit of truth can eradicate this feeling, because that's exactly what it does. This right here is chaos. This right here is unsurety. This right here is fear. This right here is exactly what the adversary is king of. The adversary is the king of lies. The adversary has the divine masculine in the clutches. As long as the divine masculine makes you feel like this, the adversary has them lit on the tail. You see the devil card poking out now. It's the fire is on the tail of the divine masculine, and the divine masculine is standing effeminately, looking away, not able to keep eye contact because of shame with the divine feminine. The divine feminine's eagerly looking at the divine masculine to reciprocate some type of energy, sow some type of life, get them out of the situation, get them out of the bondage that they're in. But yet, all that needs to happen is the divine feminine can kickstart the situation on their own if they want to. But the divine masculine, as long as they have the attention of the divine feminine, and not knowing why they're getting it, why they're being receiving a reward of attention of a divine feminine, when they're this type of person cerebrally, mentally, that they don't understand. It does not compute. So again, the only You're only helping the confusion if you decide to reward the divine masculine with you, your energy, whatever. And the divine masculine is tricky. I used to be tricky. Try to get go about however getting the energy I need to, say whatever I need to say. And then the next time you speak, it's like a completely different person. Am I right or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, I mean, I am. But I'm speaking off the spirit of truth. So I you know, let's see what clarifying cards we got. At war. At war. Don't know right from left. Don't know what they want. Don't know what to do. This feeling of being at war within themselves is created by this feeling. Don't know what is going on, and just crying out for help. But they're doing it in a way that is it's self-sabotaging. It's self-sabotaging the way they're going about it, because they don't process emotions right, because they were taught to process emotions. They were taught that emotions were weak. They were taught that everybody except them is the enemy. They've been taught, some of them, that themselves are the enemy. They have this in their head. This is their core belief. And this is what this confusing thing is. And that's why some of them avoid the call of the universe, avoid the Ace of Swords coming out and offering them that kingdom mindset, because they've been told by people around them that they're not that. They've been told by the world that they're not that. And that creates conflict within them. That creates conflict because we've got warring sides. But I tell you that whichever core belief was solidified first, the rest of the world is going to form to solidify that belief. Look it up. It's science. It's mental health medicine. I've been researching it, trying to figure out what's going on with these divine masculines, what's going on with myself, and in doing so, I'm learning, and I'm bringing this information back to make sure that everything makes sense. This feeling, them not knowing which way to go, it makes them feel off balance, because everybody around them seems to feel, or seems to act like anyway they know where they're going. And it's frustrating to see somebody lie so well if they are lying, because how do I do that? And then it's like, am I not good enough for that? And then the divine masculine is boom, back in their head, right where they're comfortable, right where they go and regress to, right where they escape to, right where you don't need them to be, where they don't want themselves to be, where nobody benefits from them being. That's the exact place that they slip to when they're in this. So, like I said, clarifying the fact that it is, ooh, nice. They're not up on their spiritual warfare. They're not up on and that's evident. That's evident in their actions. But more so, this is the counter. This is the counter. Also, clarifying this feeling is that their temptation, their temptation of the world, everything they see around them is confusing them. Their whole world confuses them, versus what they see on Instagram, what they see on Facebook, versus their real life, versus the dream that they're being sold, versus the American dream, versus everything is contradicting, versus the current global situation, dealing with everything is, you know what I'm saying? There's so much contradiction out in this world. It makes it hard for an individual to know which side to stand on. But yet there are so many people in this world that maneuver and claim that they have a side, that the divine masculine is sadly confused, because they really have no stake in what these other people have. They're just claiming to have sides because other people have sides. But when they get alone, they know they don't have no damn side. And that's why they're so confused. Because they're just going off what they see. And again, they're going off what they see because they're not trained up in their spiritual warfare. They don't understand that we don't fight the flesh. That what you see doesn't even matter at the end of the day. That it's all about the powers and the dark magic and all these things that y'all know as energy speaking. Divine masculine is the best they know about is the movie Secret that came out a couple of years ago. Taught them about manifesting at the base level. That's probably the best they know. All right, and I'm speaking from experience. That was the best I knew until recently. And I recently got all this motivation via the spirit of truth, via the spirit within me, to come and share this information, because there is hope for your divine masculine, as I am an example. However, it's a hard choice. It is a hard road. I see why that I had to be in the position that I was in order for the universe to extend that offer for me to actually see it at the time that I saw it. So I can say truthfully to you that your divine masculine, you're going to see the change, and until they make that change, you're going to continue to see what you're going to get, because the road is hard. And a lot of times the divine masculine picks it and backslides because it's hard. It knocks them off balance. It's completely contradictory to everything that they've been taught in this world. Okay, and that's why they're being called to get up on their spiritual warfare and separate themselves from this world, because the world will keep you confused and keep you warring at yourself, thinking you want different things. Do you know how many luxury cars I want? All of them. Do you know how many luxury properties I've looked at that I've envisioned myself in? All of them. Most of them. I've looked at places, Dubai, singular islands with no people on it. I'm looking everywhere. But the want is everywhere. What is a necessity? What is the thing that's going to give you purpose, meaning in life? At the end of the day, when the spirit of truth comes upon the individual, and it will in time, when they are ready and willing and open to receive it, but until then, they will continue to deny that it is calling them to be in a better place. And they don't know it's a better place because they won't choose it, and it won't be revealed to them until they choose it. But they have to choose it because they understand that there's no better way. They can't do it without it. And that's why they continue to cycle. Because they're confused. Back and forth all the time. I want a Beamer. No, I want a Mercedes. No, I want a Lamborghini. Oh, the Tesla model just came out. Oh, this. Oh, look at the house in Venice. Look at the house in whatever else. Different places, Bangladesh, whatever, man. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the myriad of options that are out there for somebody to be easily swept away in. And unfortunately, that is where the adversary wants the divine masculine. I'm seeing the 7 of Cups now as I'm having this conversation with you. 5 and 2 is 7. That's interesting. 5 and 2 again. So 7 of Cups is pointing out to me, and I see the black shadow figure just devoid of any light, and the options are just sprayed out in front of them, and they're just in shock of how many things there are to satisfy this carnal, this fleshly type of draw that they have. And that's the only thing that they're chasing, because at the end of the day, the only thing wrong with the divine masculine is they can't stop themselves and slow down enough to stop taking advantage of feminines and other women and whoever else they seem to be involved in. They got too much going on. They haven't slowed down enough yet. It's what's necessary and required. That's why the hermit mode comes out a lot, very often, when it pertains to the divine masculine, because it helps move them past this point and gets them to an 11 state, where we can feel like now we're moving in the alignment. Now we're doing something. Now the change is moving. This is something that we can look forward to. I've been talking about the adversary, and I told her that the divine masculine got to get up on spiritual warfare. Why? Because the enemy is always lurking. Why is the divine masculine confused? Because the enemy is on their ass. I told you. Look at this. Look, burning up the tail. Come on now. Literally fueling the divine masculine. So we wonder, when we get into different interactions with these divine masculines, how they end up being such jerks and so completely different to how they were before. We understand why. But you only understand why if you're up on your spiritual warfare. So again, we're twin flames, divine masculine, divine feminine, mirrors. This goes for you as well. up on your spiritual warfare so you understand that when that 3D divine masculine does that retarded thing, that they're being vessels for the adversary at that point, and that they need to choose the light and choose differently, and until then they'll continue to act in a way that confuses even themselves. Ooh, okay, all right. Headspace. That's not what they're thinking about. Their confusion. They're being driven insane with themselves because of their own confusion, and their confusion is a tool of the adversary to keep them as moving in what they want them to do, and whoever is attached to that is also in bondage with them until they choose to move differently. Okay? And then we'll see what type of conclusion we get in a moment over here, but we'll move on to the heart space and talk about what the divine masculine is feeling. How do you feel? Okay. They feel like dropping it. This is interesting. This is 8 and this is 2. So this is a 10. This is a complete number here. So what this means is the fact that they're confused and wishy-washy, flaky. That's what, again, what these terms boil down to. And these are also terms that are not besides the point. Okay. All right. 8 and 2, 10. They're feeling like they just want to F it all. Just drop it all together and leave it behind. They feel like they're not satisfied in their heart. In their heart of hearts, they know they're not satisfied with the way that things are going, because at this point, this is the age of information. So there's so much information out there right now, and there's so many terms and phrases that people use that the light is not hidden. It just looks obscure, and it looks like not the right thing right now because it's being driven by the adversary. So again, be up on your spiritual warfare, just like the divine masculine is called to be up in the spiritual warfare. What that will bring them their center, bring them their peace. You see that center is being trained up in that spiritual warfare and being blind to everything that the adversary shakes in front and dangles in front of their face. The divine masculine deep down is not satisfied. They are not satisfied with what they got going on. They're trying to get the 9 of Cups, where the dude is sitting proud of the treasure behind him, but they're not getting it. What's being given to them in this world, what's being offered to them, is not it's not soothing them. It's not satiating them. Your divine masculine, until they choose the light, they're a black hole. They're an insatiable, ravenous beast. They are of the adversary until they choose the light, and they move around just like that. And that's why they're so soul-sucking and energy-sucking. And sometimes, most of the time, you feel less than you felt when you first interacted with them. You feel at a lower vibration than when you first interacted with them. They make you feel bad, is what I'm trying to say, that I'm sugarcoating, that I shouldn't be. Stop letting them do that. Stop letting the adversary mess with you through them, because they got to go through their thing regardless. They got to work through this on their own. Your divine masculine, they are troubled at the way that they treat you, and also at the very same time, the adversary has them moving so fast that they can't be concerned with how they're treating any and everybody, because they're not concerned with that, because they're concerned with themselves. But themselves, again, is misleading them, because themselves is being led by the adversary instead of being up on their spiritual game and being led by the spirit of truth. Okay? Choosing the way of the mindset of the kingdom. There is a difference in the way that a person moves. The divine masculine is unsatisfied even with all of the accolades and all of the praise and all of the things in their lives that make them seem like they're doing it right. They're still not happy. They're still not happy, and that's because they're not happy on a soul level. And that soul level happiness is only going to come when they ascend beyond this and rise above and choose to stay centered, not at their heart, but at their core, at the core where the spirit of truth resides. This brings peace amidst all of the chaos of the world. This brings peace over the dissatisfaction of all the splendor that the world said would give you that satisfaction. All right, cool. Moving on. What else does the divine masculine clarify as far as the hot space? I'm leaving that one just like that. That one needs to be like that. A lack of decision. They're not standing up. They don't have a freaking backbone. They're not standing and fighting and using their sword against the adversary. And unfortunately, it's causing them to be dissatisfied. It's causing them to be confused because they should feel like they should be able to beat them, but they can't, not by themselves. And they're not making the right decision in order to be able to equip themselves to beat this, and by default beat this and this, because that's the tools that they use to knock them off balance. That's the tools. Chaos, confusion, not really knowing what's good. That's the tools that the enemy uses to distract your divine masculine. I'm telling you because I'm a divine masculine. All right? I'm a divine masculine in union. So I know how the adversary uses both of us. Okay? And he's not welcome here, but sometimes entertaining thoughts is letting them in just a little bit, entertaining thoughts. And we fight daily with the spirit, with the sword. But some of your divine masculines, they're not equipped. They're not equipped, so they can't even put up a fight. And then that confuses them because they don't want to, but yet they still do it. And it confuses them. They don't want to treat you that way, but yet every time y'all get in contact and they get enough, they start maltreating you, even though they really don't want to. Even though, how could they treat you like that after the time y'all just had together? It's because they're being used. They are not of their own will. They are not of their own volition. They are either with the spirit of truth or they are with the adversary. No, there's no in between. The middle ground is the adversary's ground. So again, I say they are either with the spirit of truth or they are with the adversary. Each is a decision. Each is a decision. And until that decision is made, the adversary has won. And the adversary only wins by people not making a decision or by choosing the adversary. And sometimes, a lot of times, where the adversary wins the most is in having people not choose. You see what I'm saying? So, it's all good. The universe will continue to reach out. The King of the universe wants to call all to better than what this individual has in store for each and every one of us. So rest assured that where there is a booby trap, where there is danger, there is also an escape route there. The universe has provided a way out. Okay, let's keep it moving. All right, this is exactly why they're unsatisfied, because the adversary has control over them. They are not using what has been given to them in order to combat this. And so we get dissatisfaction because the devil don't care if somebody happy or not. As long as they're used for whatever task was accomplished, he don't care if they're happy or not. So the divine masculine continues to be unhappy, continues to not do what they want to do, and continues to do what they don't want to do to you. All because they won't on any level stand up for themselves, 3D or 5D. It's a sad feeling to be here. This is complete and utter chaos and confusion and dissatisfaction. But it's okay, because the universe will provide a way out. The universe don't want your divine masculine under the clutches of the adversary. But your divine masculine also needs to not want to be under the clutches of the adversary. And until they choose the spirit of truth, that is exactly what they've chosen. All right, move right along. Let's see. They don't believe. I'm leaving all three of these like this. They don't believe in the promise. They don't believe that they can get this. They don't believe it's for them. They don't believe. And this is right here. This is coming out in both cards in XV, I got an X and I got a V over here. They combat the feeling that this is even real. And again, that is a lie that the adversary has sold them, and that they have unfortunately sat with for a long enough period for it to become something that they have to overcome now at this point. They have to unlearn the fact that this is not for them, or that they might not be able to get it, and they have to relearn that this is for them, that it is promised to them, and that as long as they move in the right way, or at least start to move in the right way, they can start to reap some of the benefits. But there are no benefits over here. And if they are, they're not going to be satisfying. They're not real. And the divine masculine is aware of that. Deep down they know. And again, these cards are clarifying why they feel like they got to leave this behind, because they don't feel like they're powerful. They don't feel like they can do a damn thing. That's what that double up says. And they don't believe that anything is going to get better in their lives. And the fact that this is upside down on this particular side of the cross, and this is upside right on this particular side of the cross, shows me that the devil has beat this out of the divine masculine's mental, and that this is why they're so unhappy. So we see on this side that the King of Swords would easily decimate this confusion. With the sword, the King of Wands would be able to put this to rest. But the King of Swords would absolutely be able to put it to rest. They'll chop them boys up. What you mean? Stop playing with the King of Swords. But the fact that they're not assuming the position, and they're not moving as such, and they're not moving in the spirit of truth, that's why they got their confusion. That's why they got their confusion. So what they should do, instead of being the Page of Swords here, or not the Page of Swords, they're not even being the Page of Swords right now. What they need to do is get up on their game. Train physically, train mentally, train spiritually. Get up on game. That's why this is here upright and this is here upside down. They need to switch. Or not even switch, just this is the answer for this. This is the answer for this as to why it's upside down. Because the adversary has sold the lie to the divine masculine that it is not for them. That they'll never have what they wanted to have. There'll never be the impact that they wanted to be. They'll never. The Spirit of Truth wants to redeem that within the divine masculine and bring that person back out so they can be another member in the army for the Spirit of the Light, the Spirit of Truth. All right. So now, here we have discussed the headspace of the divine masculine, what they're thinking about, why they're always confused, and the fact that they need to get up on their spiritual game so they can defeat the adversary and get over this chaos feeling within themselves that they have no idea what to do, which will ultimately put this to rest as well within themselves and you. They feel in the heart space that they are not satisfied and they're willing to leave everything behind, or contemplating leaving everything behind because they're so dissatisfied. All right. And the reason they're so dissatisfied is because they're not assuming their position. They're not trained up in the way. They're not even trying to be, because they're scared. And the adversary has gotten into the mental state enough for the divine masculine's core belief to be they're undeserving of, and they're undeserving of this type of life. All right. So once they get over this, and once they cling to the Spirit of Truth, the Spirit of Truth will instill in them that this promise is for real. And once they believe that with the same amount of belief that they believe the adversary for all these years, we'll start to see the same type of life that they had equal and opposite in a better way. Because that's just how good the universe is. All right. So we will see here. I forgot what I said we was going to see here. What I said we was going to see here. Head space, heart space. Well, that's what I normally do. You know what? Fuck it, we're gonna go with the Spirit of Truth. Ooh. Okay. So, the great fear that myself and a lot of other divine masculines have is that we'll never be in a position for you as the divine feminine to be fully able to trust us with everything that you've got. And this is 10 again here. Man, this divine masculine, this energy right now, it's a sad, defeated energy, and this is showing that they are within the clutches of the adversary right now. They're within the clutches of the adversary right now. But I tell you that there will be a way out. They want to put this to rest. They want to feel satisfied, and they want to be in a position for you to be able to trust them. All right? Again, I said over here, I keep saying that the divine masculine, sometimes they don't even want to be doing what they're doing. They cannot control themselves. They are under the not even the spell, but they're under the choice. By not making a choice to be of the spirit of truth, they're making the choice to be of the adversary, and they're being used as a vessel without their consent, because that's how the adversary works. Unless you've chosen the spirit of truth, you are a vessel for the adversary, and that's what a lot of y'all deal with in these individuals with the way they treat you. So it makes it hard for you to be able to trust them, and it makes it hard for them to even ask you for your trust. But some of you give it willingly, and then your vision and you become confused because you're not being treated the way that you would expect a divine character to treat somebody. All right? So just bringing you up on game that the divine masculine is dissatisfied, sad. They feel helpless. And right now, I need you to muster up some positive energy and send it out, because that's literally all I want you to do, because it is up to them, just like it was up to me. And today we're having this conversation. There is hope, but they have to choose it. Once they choose it, then they can position themselves better. Then you can trust them more. But until then, the reason you feel the way you feel is validated in the fact that they are not of them. They are of themselves right now. They are not moving of the spirit of truth, and that should put you in a position to worry and be in danger, because they're being used. They're being used, and they're not up on game. And you, as a person that is up on game, spiritually speaking, should, one, continue to grow, and two, understand that each person has their own path to travel. All right, move right along here. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles shows that they are not taking the opportunity, that they are ignoring over and over the call. They are ignoring the promise. They are ignoring the opportunity, and it's going to continue to put them at a disadvantage. It's going to continue to put them in a place where they are not going to be able to be fully trusted, and it would be unwise to, because they can't see past themselves. They can't see past themselves, and it sucks, but they need to work through it. And they need to work on it. And when they work on it, they'll get to a point where they're going to ask for help. And it's going to come from the spirit of truth. Because that is the only thing that can combat the adversary. Because this is his world. And that's why it's falling apart. But when the opportunity is taken, then we can start to see these things start to flip. Because the divine masculine will flip. Because this world will no longer make sense. Well, any more sense than it normally doesn't already. All right, cool little frozen beans. Keep moving here. Hey you. Okay, so I don't know why I flipped that opposite like that, but this right here is opposite to what you need. This right here is opposite to what they need. This right here is opposite to what this thing needs. The Page of Swords does not need to walk away, but it needs to engage in battle. But it will, the old Page of Swords will only engage in battle once the page realizes that the power is in the sword, the power is in using what has been given. But until that is realized, they will continue to be dissatisfied. They'll continue to be dissatisfied. But this one flipped out because this not being able to trust is not what the Empress needs. It's not what the Empress needs. So it's really asking you to be of your higher self and to not accept this. Because if you do, you already know what you will get. More confusion, more not sure if twin flames is real because this divine masculine's a goof. Not, and I was saying goof, not like goofy, like, but actual goof as in, like, not, but, okay. Choose your words carefully, sir. A goof as in somebody that is doing the wrong thing all the time. I just wanted to butter it up a little bit. Okay, moving on. But opposite to what you need is somebody that is untrustworthy in your life. Somebody that hasn't understood the opportunity, taken the opportunity, and is moving with the opportunity. Not what you need. Okay, it's only a suggestion though. Okay? Only a suggestion. Let's see what else this is. That's a nice card. That's a nice card. So, when the divine masculine is reborn in the spirit of truth, that's when these worlds can start to look similar. But until then, the divine masculine's world is a little gloomy and dark, with no belief, no stepping up into the power, no not knowing anything, no ability to get out of their own way, no ability to trust themselves or think that you would trust them, thereby making them feel like they are untrustworthy, which brings out a feeling of fear that they'll never be worth anything. Okay, we're just seeing how much right now the adversary has clutches on the mind of the divine masculine, and that generates the feeling of the lack, of the not being complete, because they are not complete in the adversary. They are complete in the spirit of truth. They are complete in the alignment with the universe. That's where the divine masculine is complete. Not in anything this has going on, and not in anything the world has going on. The divine masculine is complete when they are reborn in the spirit of truth, and not a moment before. Not a moment before. Everything that they do before they're reborn in the spirit of truth is of the adversary. All the satisfaction that they're going out, they're so dissatisfied, all the satisfaction that they're seeking out, unless it is by the spirit of the truth, it is by the adversary, and they're just trying to get whatever they can in a 3D fashion. And Twin Flames is not a 3D world, so there's no need to be in cahoots with a 3D masculine when we're talking about 5D operations. Okay? Okay. All right. Okay. You say okay. I hope so. All right. Now, conclusions, outcomes. Let's see what's on the bottom here. Conclusion. Drop God. Drop the gods. Drop this force field that they have around themselves, thinking that they're right. Ooh. They think they're right. They think nothing is wrong with what they got going on. They think they're A-okay, doing it just fine. That's not the case. It's not okay to be in the position that they're in. And if they are not changing, if they are not actively trying to bring these walls down, then they're choosing to stay with the adversary, because the spirit of truth requires transparency and honesty with something much more than yourself, because the divine masculine lies to themselves all the time. They lie to you all the time. They lie, period. Why? Because they're of the adversary. There's no surprise. It's no surprise. When they start to bring these walls down, they will start to be able to see more clearly that the spirit of truth has been reaching out to them and that they have been denying it and thereby hurting you and stopping themselves from benefiting and receiving all the goodness that there is to be gotten. There needs to be a tearing down of the walls, but the divine masculine has to do it themselves. And if not, we all know that divine is not short or shy of coming up with tower moments to knock people off their bullcrap pedestal that the adversary let them build on false terms. So the divine masculine can do that themselves, or we can expect divine to step in and boom shaka laka laka ooh ah ah. So conclusion is that the walls should start to come down. The remedy is for the walls to start to come down because the adversary has built up these walls around the divine masculine that make the divine masculine think that whatever they're doing is okay, and that's why they continue in their cycles. And they know, and that's also why they know they're not doing right by you and they can't ask you to trust them, or they ask you to trust them and they still bring you through the dirt emotionally because they're just doing whatever they want to do. They're doing whatever they want to do until they choose the spirit of truth, until they choose to move in alignment with the universe. These people are of the adversary. They are with one or with the other. There is no choosing both. You serve one or you serve the other. Light or dark. Plain and simple. If your divine masculine is not moving in the light, they're moving in the dark. If they're moving in the dark, you're not going to benefit. They're not going to benefit. The promise, their blessings are not going to come. Your level of trust is not going to increase in them. They're not going to be able to see the future ahead. They're not going to believe that they can change. They're not even going to start to try to change. They're going to be okay with the dissatisfaction. They're going to continue to move in their heads. They're going to continue to be under the will of the adversary. And anybody under the will of the adversary is against the light. And light is the first part of our occupation as light workers. So, if they're not for you, they're against you, which is why it's so hard to trust. Which is why that's polar opposite to what you need. It's polar opposite to what them damn selves need. But they can't slow down enough. They got their ass on fire. Always moving. That's why the hermit mode is so necessary. It's so necessary to stop that fire on the tail so they can see the world around them and see how pitch black it is. Okay, let's see, moving on right. Wow. Holy I'm doing a walk away. Had to do a whole walk away. What do you mean though? What do you mean? The remedy is what? 99. The remedy is to go into hermit mode. I just said it. I just called it out. I know what I'm talking about. It was necessary for me to have a mental hermit mode so that the spirit of truth could reveal itself to me and show me that I was more, and show me that I didn't have to do wrong by people, that I didn't have to betray the one that I said I loved. So I didn't have to keep going in the old way and not be enjoying myself and enjoying my life by talking to and saving souls. I love what I do. I'm pulling people from out of the darkness by showing them that their divine masculine is coming out as long as the choice is being made. As long as the choice is made, your divine masculine will emerge. But until then, a choice has been made. And you need to move wisely. Again, keep the grass cut because the snakes are roaming. They're looking for places to snivel into and swirl up in and slither their way into. The nasty bastards. Keep them out of there. All right? No snakes in the garden. No snakes in the garden. All right? When they emerge, when they shed that snake skin and get away from being a snake and be reborn in the spirit of truth, at that point and only at that point can they become a suitable suitor for a light worker, because again, they're not a black hole anymore. They're not taking and not replenishing or reciprocating. But until that happens, they're going to be continuing to move around like a chicken with their head cut off, just literally running this way and that all the day long, trying to satisfy this burning feeling within them, this incomplete feeling within them, but never knowing how to actually do it. They'll continue to move in that until they finally slow down enough to see what's going on with the spirit of truth. And then sitting with this and cultivating it, they will embody that and then start to be, and then they'll be refreshed. So they'll start to move new. It's such interesting that I got a 9-9 down here on the bottom. I like that a lot. All right. One more card here. One more card. Let's see what we got. Hey-o. All right. Now, the Divine Masculine is being asked to leave behind what does not serve them. The solution, the remedy, in order to get them and get you to be able to trust them and get them to be able to trust themselves, is leaving behind what does not serve them. And what does not serve them is anything of this world and anything of the adversary, which is fear, confusion, and chaos, which is always this go, tail on fire type of chicken head with the head cut off mentality, not really knowing where you're going, just moving all the damn time. Being called to slow down, drop the guard against the spirit of truth coming through, against the light coming through, and sitting with them. Again, I said that the whole world gonna brighten up once they go into hermit mode and cultivate this light. It's going to brighten up when they decide to leave things behind that don't serve them. It's like a track runner. When they get on the track, they just strip down to their leotards. They're not wearing big baggy clothes. Why? Because those kind of clothes don't benefit them moving forward. They need to be aerodynamic so they can cut through the wind, so they can leave behind, again, the baggy clothes that don't suit their pursuit. They're trying to move fast. Baggy clothes are going to catch the wind. Leave the baggy clothes behind. Too many mind is of the adversary. There's too much confusion going on. Leave it behind. And as soon as you do that, the world will brighten up, because you've left the too many mind of the adversary behind and chose to move with the light instead. This is what is in store for the Divine Masculine. They are being called to their greatness. They just have to see it and they have to choose it. And in order to see it, they have to slow down. And until they slow down, they're going to feel like this. They're going to feel like this. They're going to feel like this. But I'm telling you, as an example of somebody that was everything you see before you, there is a way out. The universe will not stop. The universe will not stop. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this into, this is the future pile. I'm going to go ahead and flip this one around. So I'm changing the energy of this one to a future pile. This is current mind, current heart, future energy. This is what the Divine Masculine truly wants. To trust themselves, and for you to be able to trust them and to earn your love and to be better and to feel fresh and to feel like they have purpose and feel renewed. This is what the Divine Masculine wants. The remedy is leaving behind things that don't serve them, which are things of the adversary. All right? Cool little frozen beans. I hope this reading was everything you wanted. More importantly, I hope it's everything you needed. Love.